So we're out here today in the community of Raisin City. We had an encampment of unhoused individuals who are here on private property. I want to make the distinction. This is not part of the ordinance that's being proposed with encampments on public property. This is on private property. The owner of the property had contacted us, and there's typically two ways we do this. We either utilize the trespassing section of Penal Code Section 594, or we go through the eviction process. Today, we're using the trespassing section for the private property, and we posted this property 5 days in advance with an actual posting, letting them know that this morning, August 16th at 7 a.m., that they were subject to removal from the property. At that time, our civil unit with Deputy Cervantes and other members of our department came out here, along with some of our advocates and people from Kingsview Advocate Center, and offered services to these individuals. We gave plenty of announcements. We obtained voluntary compliance for them to leave the property. No one is being charged with a crime at this time. And that's what we're at right now with the cleanup.
This is pretty large, I guess you can say, encampment. How many people are inside the home encampment plus animals? So
we had about 4 small trailers on the property and about 10 individuals, and there was probably 10 to 12 dogs here, animals on the property. We offered services to these individuals. I think that's very key here, that there are beds available through hotel vouchers and other transitional housing. None of them accepted those services or those vouchers. And like I said, Kingsview was out here this morning. But during the course of the 5 days that this has been posted, we have individuals with the Fresno County Homeless Task Force and other services that come out here and offer them services and try to, make sure that they have every opportunity available to them before this day comes at 7 a.m. and then they're, legally removed from the property.
And again, they all turned it down.
They all turned it down, and I want to make sure individuals understand there was beds available for them to go to. This wasn't like we're removing them from the property and, good luck, you're on your own. There was hotel vouchers available today for them. Now, I understand people don't want to leave their dogs and animals behind, so that's something that we are working on to try to figure out a solution. But at this point, no one is accepting services or those vouchers.
So where are these people now?
They are actually behind us here, behind where the encampment was, and there's an orchard there. They're waiting there. They have some of their personal belongings with them, and someone is coming to pick them up in a vehicle.
Do we know how long the encampment had been there before you guys came down here? You guys said you guys left ordinances a while back.
I'll let Deputy Cervantes answer.
This encampment has been at this location for approximately a year or so. It started out with one, and then another structure, then another structure, then an RV. So it grew during the course of the year.
Can you speak to just the impact this has had on the community? You're mentioning the business owner here, the homeowners. What is the impact here on this community?
So right behind us, where we're filming right here, is a playground, a park for kids. There's barbecue, there's a picnic bench. Over here, there's a family that lives in this residence with children. And you have the post office over here. A lot of people walk around here to get to the post office, and there's an elementary school on the west end of town. This is a small community here in Raisin City, but there's no running water here. There's no sewer. It's a very unsanitary, poor quality of life condition that is bringing down the quality of life for the surrounding area. As I've talked to some of the deputies out here, we've had calls of domestic violence, we've had calls of drug use on this property, and in fact, the house over here where a family lives to my left, these unhoused individuals have actually gone onto their property trying to get water and other things, kind of causing problems for them, which they're just minding their own business, living their residence with their family. So it's a good thing that we're able to clear this out, improve the quality of life for the residents here in Raisin City. And on top of that, there are other places for these individuals to go. Like I said, we should work out some issues with their pets, but if they want to, there's housing available today as we speak.
When you guys arrived, was there any pushback, any incidents? Everything goes smooth?
Oh, that Deputy Cervantes was here. He spoke to the occupants of the encampment.
The occupants did question and had additional questions regarding that, but we were able to explain why we're here again and that services were indeed offered and refused Prior to making any contact, we had Kingsview come out and offer services and talk to them and give them every opportunity to take advantage of those opportunities. And made sure everything was English and Spanish, so there was no loss in translation or anything. Notices posted 5 days prior to, English and Spanish, and we came out throughout the week to tell everyone, hey, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, please make arrangements, take advantage of what's offered. And to try to mitigate and get cooperation from everyone involved.
Is this a common thing, you know, in more rural parts that encampments like these start to form? Are you guys seeing this in other parts of the county? And, you know, is there a greater effort at this point to try and crack down on these types of encampments?
So that's a great question, but we're talking about encampments. The ordinance is not in effect. This is not public property. This is a private property owner who has these people essentially illegally on his property with this encampment. I mean, if you could see behind the store over here, there where the well tanks are, they've been digging. They've been causing him problems with his business. You know, you could see that there's a lot of this. All of this is abandoned property behind us here. A lot of it's trash. It's very unsanitary conditions. So we do probably 5 or 6 of these a year, but this is on private property. So this was brought to our attention by the property owner and by residents in the community. This isn't us going out and just removing someone.
Can you talk about storing their belongings? If it's denied, then you don't have to store their belongings. Talk about that.
Yeah, basically when we do the initial contact, we tell everyone, hey, any property left here, we give you 5 days to make arrangements to get all property, all valuables off the premises, and anything left here will be considered abandoned or trash. If they request specific items to be stored, we have no problem with it, and we'll store it for 90 days, and after that, then we'll have to dispose of it after 90 days. I understand how important property is for everyone, and so on days of eviction, the Sheriff's Department tries to work with everyone to meet them halfway to get some voluntary compliance. So that's why there's individuals out there with their property waiting for a ride in the back, and nothing was touched. And there was approximately 3 to 4 RVs here, and we gave them the time necessary to load up whatever they could and take it off the property. So we try to work with everyone so we can have some peaceful resolution and cooperation.
And for this instance, they have some property that they decided to keep, and everything else they denied.
Everything left here, yes.
And as you guys had previously mentioned, this is private property. Can you guys just go into some of what the property owner had to go through to bring this to your guys' attention?
So in this case, this is private property. Today's removal is based on the trespassing section of the penal code because they are trespassing on private property. In this case, all of the individuals that are here removing the abandoned property, the trash, and cleaning up this property, it is paid for by the property owner. This is, he has to pay for this in order to clean up his property, and I think we all know property rights are important, and he's got a business here on the property. There's a playground here across the street. So he's paying to clean it up. It's going to improve the quality of life for this community, and it's a lot. It's expensive. I mean, it's not cheap. He's had, haulers out here. He's had individuals with trucks and trailers. And I also want to note that when we do take individuals' private property for safekeeping, we notify them, and they're very well aware of the 90-day rule, and they're notified before that property is disposed of. We just don't take it, and then if they don't show up in 90 days, they are notified to the best of our ability to, hey, your property is on this date, that's as long as we're going to hold it. But in some other cases, when we have larger encampments, people go through the eviction process, where they have to get a writ, they go to court, it's an order by a judge, and that is thousands of dollars typically in legal fees. Then we do the same process. We come out and we post 5 days in advance. We bring services out, we bring our county partners out from the Homeless Task Force, people like Kingsview, Rescue Mission, Poverello House, and we make sure these individuals have every opportunity to get services. Because we understand that just removing him and sending him down the road isn't fixing the problem.
Obviously the ordinance has one hearing left, until potentially it goes through. If it does go through, would that alleviate some of those fines and stuff like that? Would you make this process a little easier?
Well, the ordinance only applies to public property. So on private property, people are still going to have to go through either the Penal Code 594 trespassing or the eviction type of process. But how we handle the removal, such as the posting, the services, getting individuals out there and then giving them time, the 5 days, that process for the public, the ordinance that is looking to be passed, that process will be the same. It's just the initial process, you won't need the court order, you won't need to go through the trespassing and things like that. And then obviously if it's on public property, we will have to use public resources, either city or county, in order to clean up those encampments that are on public property.
Last question for me. You mentioned it's for public property only. Would this cause more of a headache for those for property owners, where the homeless is going to abandoned properties or dirt lots and causing more headaches for them?
There is a potential for that. My advice, though, to private property owners is when you see something like this starting on your property, go out there and confront them. Advise them that they're not supposed to be there, they're not welcome there, they don't have your permission. And then if it persists, contact law enforcement immediately. Don't wait months, or like in this case, a year, until it gets to be overgrown. You've got 3 trailers, you see a bunch of wooden fencing and trash, and like I said again, the unsanitary conditions. In order for them to get water, they're either going into the neighbor's yard or they're going out here into the field, damaging irrigation pipes and things like that in order to get water. This is not a place for individuals to live. That's why we're working so hard, with our partners at the city, Fresno County, Kingsview, and all of our other, advocates, to find places for these individuals to go and to have a bed and a roof over their head.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.